We have been doing this canto for the last 4 months. It means that we are uh, giving something like 25 hours roughly for this canto alone, 25 hours. Uh, well, we had done the Book of the Divine Mother, Book 3, which is roughly 1500 lines in 15 classes, about 15 classes, means about 20 hours. Now, book 3 in 20 hours or 15 classes, canto 1 alone in 17 classes, you see. So, you can see the kind of density which is there in the opening canto, and yet I don't think we have really grasped the essence of this canto. It can go on and on, perhaps for some more time. I don't know. Maybe when we have completed the whole thing, we would come back again to it and see if something more can come out. Now, while I was preparing the resume of this section, section 2 of the symbol dawn, I saw that there are number of new points which we had not covered during the regular sessions which we had earlier about this one, you see. And it is good to look into them, you see. In other words, the more and more you plunge into Savitri, the more and more Savitri reveals itself to us, the epic Savitri, you see. And in a certain sense, in that sense, doing Savitri continuously is also a process of our own continuous growth and expansion, doing Savitri continuously. We don't know how it is happening, but these things do happen, and we are also then, in that sense, growing continuously by doing it repeatedly in that sense. Now, the very first line which we got here, first sentence which we got here. So, we will start again with the first sentence itself of the section 2. And Savitri too awoke among these tribes that hastened to join the brilliant Samana's chant and, lured with the beauty of the apparent beings, acclaimed their portion of ephemeral joy. Now, there are three things in this sentence. The first thing is Savitri is awaking. Savitri is awaking. The second sentence is she is awaking among these tribes. Then she is hastening, awaking and hastening also. Hastening for what? To join this brilliant summoner. The question is, who is this brilliant summoner? And what is his chant? It is the summoner who is chanting. It is the summoner who is chanting. And to the chant of the summoner, these tribes are hastening to join. And along with these tribes, Savitri is also coming along, joining in Savitri. So that is the basic sense, English sense of this one, you see. Now the problem is, what are these tribes? Why they are hastening? Who is this brilliant summoner? What is his chant? These are the four things basically you see. Now before we go to that, we'll simultaneously start reading these notes also. Section 2, the second half of the symbol dawn, consists of 42 sentences, 150 slides, and etc. It brings divine Savitri into immediate focus. Second canto, second section, immediately brings into focus Savitri. But who is Savitri? Divine Savitri. Into focus. Bright, speedy, purposeful. She is brought into focus for a certain kind of a purpose. Bright, speedy purpose. And she is poised in the transcendent for taking the mortal birth. See, the whole thing, as I have been telling, is happening in the transcendent. and she is now hastening to join these tribes. We'll see what these tribes are. The terse prolegomenon, that is the introduction, prologue of Savitri, consists of two cantos. Canto 1, the symbol dawn, Canto 2, the issue. The entire problem, thesis of Savitri is first brought into focus in these two cantos, and then the rest of the thing is a kind of a narrative or a development or expansion of the theme. Presents to us in a luminous occult sweep the early history of Earth. This prolegomenon is basically giving us the early history of Earth leading to the coming of the age of man. How things started, how evolution expanded, grew, has come to a certain point, has come to the point of man. How man has arrived. That is what these first two cantos are dealing with. And the prospects that can unfold with his advent, with the arrival of man, what can happen next is what is important. The appearance of man in this creation is the beginning of a grand, happy possibility. It is that possibility which has to be explored, which has to be strengthened, which has to be carried forward on the upward evolutionary slope. Man has appeared on the scene. Now it is with man's appearance, a new possibility in the process of evolution has grown. In fact, the collaboration of man is something which is required at this stage for hastening the process of evolution. The mother says so, that nature has been carrying on the work, man has arrived, now man can help nature, nature can get help from man and carry the evolution further. So it is the collaboration of man which is important now here. So the appearance of man in this creation is the beginning of a glad, happy possibility. Obviously, he can participate now in the process of evolution consciously, although he is half conscious. With that consciousness, he can participate now. It is that possibility which has to be explored, which has to be strengthened, which has to be carried forward on the upward evolutionary, means from man, not beyond man, is a possibility. But these are the future prospects that have to be worked out by the divine incarnate. Man is there, he is doing certain things, but the crucial task will be done by the divine himself incarnating here on earth. To be worked out by the divine incarnate. That working out is the beginning of the story of Savitri. Collaboration of man is there, man has come, things can move forward, but the working out is the beginning of the story of Savitri. For that kind of indispensable arrival of hers, for her necessary mortal birth, what is imperative is the world's desire. There should be an urge, there should be a desire, there should be invocation, there should be receptivity on the part of the earth also. World's desire, the aspiring soul's entreaty must be quickened, must be set ablaze and taken to the Supreme. Must be set ablaze and taken to the Supreme. There is an aspiration, there is invocation, there is prayer, there is entity in the soul of the man, but it is feeble. Man is not fully able to that. Now, who is going to set that thing ablaze? It is the divine who will incarnate himself. In the story of Savitri, it is Ashwapati who will come and do that thing. It is Ashwapati who will carry this world's desire to the Supreme Goddess and pray to her, well, this is what we want, etc. Quickened, must be set ablaze and taken to the Supreme. The divine yogi comes to do it. He comes and prepares the flame strong and flame splendid ground for her birth. It is he, Ashwapati, who really prepares the adhara for the arrival of Savitri in this creation. In fact, this yogi, he not only prepares the ground for her coming, he does something more. something more important, something more significant. What does he do that? He does something more than that, something absolutely marvelous. He founds a new creation in the house of the spirit. He establishes a new creation. By his yogic power, he establishes a new creation in the house of the spirit, in the transcendent, in Satchidananda. He creates a new creation. Unless that is there, it cannot come here. Unless something is established there, it cannot happen here. As if a kind of a transcendental prototype has to be created, and then that prototype can work itself out and come down here. Unless something is there, it cannot happen here. That is the whole basis. So Ashwapati's marvelous work is to create a new world there, new possibility to be established there, and then bring it down. So he founds a new creation in the house of the spirit, a creation of the qualities and dimensions of the manifesting spirit. Obviously, bringing down that new and marvelous creation, the terrestrial scheme, is the next desideratum. That is what, yes, it has to be brought down here now. It is that which should mark a joyful, longed for, long awaited divine event. What is the divine event? Bringing down that thing. It is that which needs to be promoted, and promoted in every respect. That is the foremost concern, a challenging concern. In the fulfillment of that concern is the essentiality of the presence and authority of Savitri. If that divine event has to come down, then Savitri's presence here is absolutely necessary. It cannot happen without her at all, you see. So that is how the Savitri, in the very first sentence we have got here, Savitri hastened. All that thing is kind of understood behind that thing. Through the earlier manvantaras, through the long repeated cycles of things were happening. See, this manvantara of man, as I told you earlier, I mean, in the Puranic story of the 10 avatars, Dasha avatar as we call them, the earlier avatars, 4 avatars, were of animal kind, starting from fish, then tortoise, then boar, then half man, half lion, Narasimha. These were in the first cycle of Yuga, in the first Yuga, Krita Yuga, Satya Yuga. Then came the 3 avatars, Vamana, then Parshuram, and then Rama. The arrival of Rama masked the presence of man in the process of evolution. So that is really the significance of Rama's avatarhood. The Manomaya Purusha, the mental being, has now come on the earth. So through the earlier Manvantaras, through the long repeated cycles of time, things were happening. Earlier all those things were there. See, earlier when basically they were vital forces, life forces, all these animals and even lion, Parshuram, they were all animal forces, demoniac in character, gigantic nature, titanic in nature, that kind of a thing were there. They had to be kind of subdued, removed away from the scene. The defeat of Ravana means that all those Asuric forces which were there, the Pishachas, the Rakshasas, Asuras which were there, they had to be subdued so that a path is cleared out. That is the transition point of Rama's avatarhood, you see. In fact, in that sense, I will really praise the stand which was taken by Ravana himself. Ravana opposed the divine. He became the enemy of God purposefully. And with all his Asuric forces and powers and capacities which he had, he could conquer the entire world. All the gods were enchained and enslaved by him. Such was the Asuric force at that time. Now such a person, he says, my whole idea is by becoming the enemy of God and by getting absorbed by God, I am dissolving myself totally. dissolving myself totally, dissolving, disappearing from the scene. You see, in other words, the entire Asuric force which he had gathered within him, he had put now entirely into the charge of the divine himself. So in that sense, I will rather really praise the kind of a stand which Ravana had taken. It's a very beautiful thing. Look, I become enemy of God. All the opposition which is there, I surrender myself and offer to God. So it is no more there now. So the Rakshasic force which was there until now, that got subdued and things became easier for man to move forward, you see, because of that. So in that sense, he has really played a very kind of a, although in a very negative manner, a very, very useful, purposeful role in the entire scheme of things, Ravana's avatar, so to say. Through the pronounced and long sense, through the earlier manvantras, through the long repeated cycles of time, things were happening. All these avatars were coming. So gradually the evolution was progressing, kind of happening, understandably, not within a degree of pronounced living sentience. That living livelihood is not there, obviously earlier, because mind was not there at all. Sentience, in the terms of future developments and scenarios, but with the arrival of the mental being, of Manomaya Purusham, there began a new age, a new momentous age, the age of man, that is Manvantaram. Man, the well-made being, in him growing possibilities, with it advanced the happy glimmer of participative hope. You could really now participate in the process of evolution, you see. Participative hope. Yes.
Manvantara means
Mana means man.
Manvantara means
A period of time. Anna.
period of time.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Not specific demand.
yeah. Participative hope. With him, he can things and move. Until now, earlier developments were not able to participate in that sense.